All right, chapter 6. Let's start off with reviewing, simplifying some radicals. And these are all pretty simple because they are all perfect squares. So the perfect square root of 25, 5. The square root of 36 is 6. Then we have 12, 11, and what is the square root of 132? Well, this one's a little bit different because there is no number that makes 132. And now look, where is 132? It's between 121 and 144, which means if we type this into our calculator and we just did the square root of 132, what do we get? We get a decimal. It's about 11.5, which makes sense because 132 is about halfway between 121 and 144. But here's the thing. We are not going to put decimals for these. We want to simplify them. And most people get confused here and they hear, I want an exact answer, and that means decimal. Well, you just saw the decimal. We rounded it. Rounding is not exact. So in this case, we want to simplify the radical. So we're going to use the charts on our desks, okay? And we're trying to find a number that goes into 132 perfectly. And it's got to be a perfect square. So it's going to be one of those numbers across the top row on our chart, okay, on our desks. And you can look up charts or, anywhere you want. We're trying to find a number that goes into 132. So, for reference, here's a chart similar to what you'll see on your desk in the classroom. And we're going to use this to simplify the radical. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the biggest number that goes into 132. And this just takes time. You take your calculator and just start dividing. Now, if you look at this chart, okay, 132, we talked about, is between 121 and 144. So we want to work backwards. Now, obviously, 100 times 2 is 200. 81, you can guess if you want to, or kind of use some logic that it's not going to go into 132. But real quickly, if you had to, you could just divide on your calculator 132 divided by 81. And you're going to get a decimal. So we keep going backwards. And we take our calculator and do 132 divided by 64. And it's just time consuming. And that's 2.06. Close, but not the answer. 49. So we do 132 divided by 49. And that's a decimal. 132 divided by 36. Decimal. Obviously 25 is not going to go in because 132 does not end in a 5 or 0. How about 16? 132 divided by 16. 8.25. How about 132 divided by 9? Nope. How about 132 divided by 4? 33. That's our answer. So what we're going to do here is we're going to break this down. And I like to go underneath. Sorry, my board's a little jacked up at times. And I always want to write my perfect square first. So we said it was 4 times 33. We're just rewriting it. We're changing how it looks. Now, what is the square root of 4? That's 2. And then this is just going to stay. So we come down here. What's our answer? Board is not cooperating. Hold on. And we're going to write equals 2 times radical 33, or the square root of 33. All right? We can test it on our calculator if we want. Watch. 2, my board is really being weird right now. There we go. 2 times the square root of 33. Same answer. But that is the exact answer, not the rounded decimal. Oh yeah, 120. How about this? Let's find a number that goes into 120. So we go over here, we find 121, and we're going to work backwards. Obviously, 100 doesn't work. 81 is not going to work. So let's work backwards. So 120 divided by 64. No. 120 divided by 49. And again, it's time consuming, but if you just take the time to do it, it's easy. 36 doesn't work, you get 3.3 repeating. 120 divided by 25, close, 4.8. 120 divided by 16, 7.5. 120 divided by 9, 13.33. 120 divided by 4, our winner again. So 4 times 30. So we're going to take 120 and break it down. Radical 4 and radical 20. Sorry, 30. My brain just kind of left me for a second there. 30. Now again, what's this? This is 2, and there's our answer. 2 times the square root of 30. So when we ask you in this course for exact answers, that's what we're looking for. Okay? No decimals. So we're stepping up the game this semester. Simplifying radicals. What does it mean? We are basically reducing. We're taking out perfect squares. Any perfect square numbers. Make a list. Well, again, we had that. And you don't have to write it in right now. You can just copy it off what we did off the charting class. Or, you can copy this down if you like. It's up to you. Okay? Now, you should have a good idea of most of these numbers to memorize them. But if not, you just have to take your calculator and square all these numbers. 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, and so forth. But you're not going to have it memorized because we do have it on the desk to use in class. But it is good to know as many as you can. All right, we're going to simplify these. So I'm not going to pull it up on the board again, but we're looking for a number that goes into 80. Okay? Now, here's why I'm telling you not to start with the smallest number. You can do 4 and 20. A lot of people go, oh, 4 goes into 8. That's easy. Here's the problem. Yes, 4 goes in, and a lot of times people leave it like this. But that's not the answer. Because 20 also has a 4 in it. And this comes out as a 2 times that 2. So what we end up with is 4 radical 5. This is why I tell you to start from the top and work backwards. Because if you do that, you will find out that radical 80 breaks down to 16 and 5. And what's square root of 16? 4. Now, it's not that this answer is wrong. It is correct. But that is like leaving 6/10 as your answer when it's supposed to be 3/5. It's just not simplified all the way. 54. Let's find out what number goes into 54. Okay? So we start off with 54 divided by 36. Obviously not going to work. Decimal. And then we're going to try 25. Well, that's not going to work because that would be 50. So how about 16? 54 divided by 16. That's going to be a decimal. 54 divided by 9, you should know that from your times tables, 9 times 6. But again, even though if you know 9 times 6, there may be a bigger number, so you do want to check it. So this is going to end up being 3 times radical 6. All right, 1060, big number. Times tables aren't going to help here. This is where you need to use your chart. So let's start at the top. 1060 divided by 225. Nope. 1060 divided by 196. Not going to probably happen. No. 1020 divided by 169. I'm just going down the chart. I don't know what the answer is myself. Divided by 144. Nope. Really close. 7.08. 1020 divided by 121. Probably not. Nope. 1020 divided by 100? No, that's 10.2. 1020 divided by 81. Nope. 1020 divided by 64. And you're just doing the work. Decimal, really close to 16. 1020 divided by 49. And you just keep going. 36. Oh, 28.3 repeating. Obviously 25 is not going to work because it would be 25. So we're going to skip to 16. 1020 divided by 16. Nope. 1020 divided by 9. Nope. And how about 1020 divided by 4? And unfortunately, we went all the way down, and it was the first number, but you never know what it's going to be. And it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay? 255 will not break down. We just confirmed that by going backwards through numbers. So our answer here is this. 2 times square root of 255. Okay, 948. Okay? Now I'm going to save you some time, because this is one of the simpler ones again, where it doesn't break down. So it is going to be 4, and 948 divided by 4 is 237. So this ends up being 2 times the square root of 237. Okay. There's a number in front of the radical. Not a big deal. We're still going to break this down the same way we have been doing. So 50 breaks down to 25 and 2. 2 quarters, basically. You know that off the top of your head. But this 6 is still out there, and this is times. So when we have 6 times the square root of 25, which is 5, times radical 2, then our answer is just simply 6 times 5 is 30 times radical 2. Okay? This one, you should be able to see that 25 is in there. Okay, but don't forget this 11. I also just suggest you bring the 11 down to remind yourself that it's 11 times 5 times radical 10. So that's 55 radical 10, square root of 10. Okay, 147. Well, now we're going to use our calculator. I don't know off the top of my head. So I'm going to take 147 and just divide by, I'm going to guess, 64. Nope, 147 divided by 49. There it is. So this is 49 and 3. 49 is a perfect square. But this 4 comes out also. If I can get my board to write. It's not responding. So that's 28 times the square root of 3. Okay. 5 times 1,000. Well, 1,000, hopefully you see that is just 100 times 10. But the 5 comes down with it. So that's 5 times 10 times radical 10, not 10 again. So that's 50 radical 10. There's a 0 in there. All right. Okay, so we're going to multiply the outside numbers by each other, and we're going to multiply the inside numbers times each other. And then we're going to simplify like we've been doing. So, in this case, this is a 1. So we're going to do 8 times 1, and radical 3 times radical 4 is radical 12. But, if you notice, the shortcut, this is just going to break down to 3 and 4. Sorry, I always put my radical ones first. right? And then that's going to be 8 times 2 times radical 3, so 16 radical 3. But notice, we could have just made this into a 2 and simplified right off the bat, and then done 8 times 2 and been done. So if you see those shortcuts, take them. Okay, outside times outside, 18. Inside times inside, 9. But what's the square root of 9? Simply 3. And 18 times 3 is 54. Okay, last two. We're going to do these together. So, 9 times 4 is 36. Now remember though, this is really just 3. So I'm going to simplify that first. That also counts as an outside number. So then I'm just going to take my calculator and do 36 times 3 and get 108 times square root of 17. Make your life easier. Or the other thing is you could have said 4 times 3 is 12 and 12 times 9 is 108. Now, you have a choice here. You can do 20 times 2, or you can simplify this first, like we've been doing. It's up to you. So when you do that, that's going to be 2 radical 5 times 4 radical 2. And now outside times outside, inside times inside, and you're done. If you would have done 4 radical 40, you would have gotten the same answer, because this would be 4 and 10, and then that would be 4 times 2 times radical 10. And you get to the same answer. So there's more than one way to do it. But that's it.